Out on a nice refreshing dog walk again in lockdown. Aussie heel. Here he is. There he is. He's not on his lead because there's not a single car to be seen anywhere. These quiet country lanes around where I live. So I've got even longer lens with me today. I've got the 100 to 400 with a 2x converter. And I'm going to see if I can get any really very long shots on this one. I'm going to walk up the back of Yotes Court, which for those of you who don't know what Yotes Court is, a big country house estate, which we're able to walk all around. And it actually leads me up a hill, quite a high hill. Take a bit of walking. Aussie, come here. 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 And there's some fine views from the top. So let's see what we get. Well, good morning everybody. As I mentioned, I'm out on my lockdown daily walk with the dog again. I hope you're all doing well. I'm personally finding this quite challenging, although I'm lucky enough to be able to walk outside in the countryside and take my camera with me. I appreciate that quite a few of you guys are locked in and can't do that at all easily, but I'm making the most of it, and I'm hoping to climb to the top of the hill, which is over there and about half a mile away. It's about 150 foot. It's not exactly very high, but it's quite a walk for someone with bad knees like myself. And as I said earlier, I've got the 2x converter on the 100 to 400, so I'm trying today to get some even more extreme shots than yesterday. However, I don't have a tripod. I'm traveling light, and you're currently sitting over there on a fence post at the edge of the field, so it's not an ideal height, but it's working, and I'm hoping we might get some decent shots. There's a little bit of layering going on in the mist in the distance, and when we get to the top of the hill, I'm thinking we might get some decent shots across the valley. The Weald of Kent, that is, as we are here. Anyway, let's see how we get on. Well, this session is punctuated by the places I can find fence posts that have a flat top that I can put the camera on, and it just got blown over, so I'll put it back. Try again. As you can probably tell, it's quite windy. I'm hoping the sound quality is all right. I've got the remote microphone just out of the wind here, I'm hoping. And looking at the levels, the camera's decided to move on its own accord. Oz is there guarding the way for me. This walk might not seem like very much to most of you, but I've suffered from arthritis and gout for several years now, and it's been getting worse up until quite recently. And as the camera decided to fall onto the floor, I will continue, not deterred. Yes, my arthritis, it made me to the point I could hardly walk anywhere at all. And it was very slowly, very depressing. It built up over several years. Got to the point I couldn't walk more than 50 or 80 yards without having a problem. Now, a little bit out of breath and a little bit overweight, as you can probably tell, but I am able now to walk much further, and this is all due to something which I'm giving you a tip here. It changed my life just before Christmas. I started getting cannabis oil off the internet, and a few drops in the morning and a few drops in the afternoon, and my painful knee and my arthritis in my ankles is virtually gone completely. And apart from the muscle wastage that not exercising has created, which I'm hopefully getting right now by walking the dog a lot and getting out more, it has been an absolute life changer for me. I know other people have tried it and had similar results, so if you're in a similar position, and I'm going to have to hold the camera now because this is getting silly. It's fallen on a pile of mud twice now. It's not come to any harm, but yeah, look into it and give it a try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Absolutely no side effects of any consequence that were bad in any way. You can overdose on it, but the worst that can happen is you end up spending longer in the loo than you might want to, which is too much detail, I know, but give it a try if you have the same problem. And for those of you who followed my video yesterday where I was explaining about this rather natty little shoulder strap, I'm actually preaching what I said I do. And in the other pocket I've got trusty 24-70 in case something comes along that needs that. And I'm really travelling quite light as a result of that. So onward and upward, as they say. Well, that didn't work out too well. The clouds come in and it's all got very manky. The sky is lit up bright yellow in the distance behind me in the direction I'm pointing you. The haze in the valley is making everything pretty much indistinct. Even with a long lens, it'll just look like a grey mush. So I'll continue and see if I can find something further along on the walk. At least here in the woods I'm out of the wind, so hopefully the sound quality is not too bad. But I must say, having this heavy combination on this neck strap really is a pleasure. It's not a chore having this on. It's not at all. Anyway, onward and upward. Well, in fact, I'm upward now, so it's onward. See you in a minute. Well, look at this. I'm walking down a place called Adamswell on the edge of the village here on the way back home, and having to cross this wonderful field of, I think it's kale, I'm not sure, or is it rape? It might be oilseed rape. And it's almost as tall as I am, and it really is quite spectacular. So I've made use of my shoulder strap again, and this time it's holding the long lens because I'm hand holding the camera with the 24-70 on, and I think there's some quite nice shots to be had. What I'm doing is framing up some of these fronds of well, rape close in and making the background blurred by having quite a wide aperture, in this case about f4, maybe f2.8. I've got to do it handheld. It really is spectacular, this. The backlighting on this yellow rape is really pretty, and I think I might get some nice shots from here. Let's see how it goes. Well, sorry, this is a bit glary and handheld again. Unfortunately, there isn't a fence post for me to put the vlogging camera on so that it can be blown off by the wind. We're relatively out of the wind here. This is an interesting place. There's quite a steep little bank down back to the village, and it's quite tricky, especially when it's wet. It's not at the moment, so it's not too bad at all. But this is called Jacob's Ladder, this particular little piece of walk, and I suppose there's absolutely no coincidence that right in front of me here, and I've seen this for the last 20 or 30 years, it's never moved, is an old fruit picker's ladder. It's seen better days, but I wouldn't want to use it. But I'll spin you around and let you have a look at it. Just by coincidence, it's amazing. That has never moved. I've been here since 1986. I've walked this walk thousands of times, and that ladder is always there. Whether it was ever owned by someone called Jacob, I have no way of knowing. It's just coincidence perhaps, but yeah, a little bit of local history. I'm going to take a shot handheld of that because with this low sun and the lighting on it and the mottling, it looks quite nice. I want to talk to you about the settings. Because I've got the long lens on and because I've got the 2x converter on it, and I also don't have the tripod with me, I've gone sort of a bit native, and what I've done is I've applied the 1/over rule, the reciprocal rule, and I set shutter speed priority plus ISO auto. That's very much against the grain for me, because I hate high ISO, and I know it's going to give me high ISO some of the time because I'll get grain in the picture. Even though I can post-process it, it's not going to be completely perfect. But to get an image that's out of focus, there's nothing you can do with it. But if it's actually in focus but got noise, you can do something with it. So I'm hoping when I get back, these images will look half decent. Don't know if they will. I've only chimped them on the back of the screen so far, and that's not going to tell me very much about the real image quality, because that's a tiny representation of the images themselves. But even with the stabilization in the camera and the one in the lens as well, I'm still not confident that at sort of a 600 to 800 millimeter length handheld I'm going to end up with much at all. But I set the shutter speed at, I think, 7/50th of a second, which is 1/750 if you like, and I was operating between 600 and 800 millimeters on the lens. So let's get back home, get some food and get some cup of tea in, and process the images and see if there's anything there at all. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, and please also subscribe so that you get notified when I upload new videos.